Do you know what I love about e-bikes? You can do this. Do you know what I hate about e-bikes? The price. So here are 3 e-bikes I think you might love that don't break the bank. Well, they don't shatter the bank. They still break the bank a little bit, but they don't like make the bank blow up, if you know what I'm talking about.
Welcome to my YouTube channel intro video. Don't you dare skip ahead. Enjoy some of my past capers whilst pressing like and subscribe. It would be rude not to.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the conclusion first to this video. Save us both a bit of time. This is my favourite e-bike of the 3. It's sleek, it's stylish, it's sexy, it's light, and you can barely tell it's an e-bike. It's my favourite of the 3. But this is the best e-bike of the 3. It's the highest spec, it goes the furthest, the fastest, and it's the most powerful, and it's got good suspension, and you can take it pretty much anywhere. So this is the best e-bike. But if I could only buy one e-bike, I would buy this one because it does this. It's small, it's practical, it's affordable, and it packs a decent punch in terms of performance. So if I had to buy one e-bike, I'd buy this one. Sorry to be so confusing, but if you want to find out which e-bike is right for you, keep watching. Alrighty, I'm going to start with my favourite, which is this Kakuka K70. It's basically the ultimate city commuter. I won't really do it justice here because, you know, I live in a bit of a rural area. But if you lived in London or any big city and you wanted to be like the stylish, coolest commuter, then this is probably the bike for you. So let's take a closer look at this baby, starting with this amazing kickstand. I've never really experienced a bike with this kickstand. It just really adds to the overall flush, finish and finesse of this bike. Obviously it looks the part. It's absolutely beautiful. I think you can get it in silver as well. I really like these standout reflectors on the wheels straight off the bat. In there is your battery, which isn't removable, which is a shame, but obviously that would spoil the aesthetic of the bike. And straight away, look, no gears, and look at that. For a nice clean carbon fiber belt. That obviously means no maintenance, no grease, no kind of getting scuff on your ankle. The screen is absolutely beautiful, built in. I kind of wish it was touchscreen. I feel like this bike is very much the most Apple out of the 3 bikes I'm going to show you. Everything is well designed and well built. It's clearly not just another mountain bike with a battery and a motor. This is clearly being designed as a stealth e-bike from the ground up. We do have a throttle built into the handlebars, which is great. And if you want to deactivate the throttle, you simply press that, and then you're simply down to pedal assist only. Speaking of pedal assist, this bike actually has 5 levels of pedal assist, which is great to see because I find pedal assist can be a little bit jerky on some bikes, especially if they don't have a torque sensor. So you like pedal it even lightly and it'll push you along as if you want to go full whack. But with this bike, you've got 5 levels and they're very silky smooth in the kind of the power delivery that they give you. So that's good to see. Moving down the body, we do have a headlamp as well, but nothing at the rear, unfortunately. I believe it takes batteries, and then under there is a USB port, which is great, but a little bit hard to access. We also have 2 large disc brakes, a quick release on the surprisingly comfortable seat, but no quick release, alas, on the front wheel of the bike. Now, one of the caveats of owning an e-bike is weight. That's why ideally you want a removable battery, which this does not have, as you can see. But remember, this is a stealth e-bike. That's the whole point. And thankfully, Kakuka have removed much of the weight. We don't have the gears and the cogs and all that stuff. We have a carbon fiber belt. The wheels are nice and thin. So I'm pleased to say this is actually one of the lightest e-bikes I have reviewed. Now let's talk about ride quality. I didn't think this bike would be as comfortable or as enjoyable a ride as it actually is, but it's weird. This is the first bike that I've ridden without gears and without, you know, conventional chain. And the more I ride it, I feel like the other two bikes are just old-fashioned. It kind of doesn't make sense to me anymore to ride an e-bike that has gears and cogs and oil chain. It just doesn't really make sense. But I know what you're thinking, what about if you run out of battery? Well, if I turn off this bike, it's now off. It's like a fixie bike, isn't it? It's just got the one gear, which is great if you're after a cardio workout, but you would struggle on the hills if you did run out of battery. Speaking of battery, this K70 is packing a 36 volt 7.5 amp hour battery, which the website says will give you 42 miles of range, which is very, very overzealous on their part. Realistically, you can look to expect to get more like 20, 25 miles, depending on how much you abuse the throttle, which is exactly what I'm doing now to get up this hill. So I would be a lot more realistic than 42 miles and expect something like 20 to 25 at a push. Yes, so overall, I have really been enjoying this e-bike. Okay, you could say 250 watt motor is just not enough for me, but I am pretty sure that this thing is putting out a lot more than 250 watts, especially up the hills. And with regards to speed, I'm really pleased that we're getting over the 15.5 miles per hour limit that come with a lot of e-bikes in Europe. This thing, I've been easily getting 20 with just the throttle, as you'll see in the speed test. So for all those reasons, this Kakuka is my favorite e-bike of the three. But if you want to go off-road, you're gonna need something else. Okay, it's not gonna win any style awards, is it? It's basically just a mountain bike with a big old battery and a motor strapped on it, isn't it? But let's take a closer look. So I can see why more and more e-bike manufacturers are hiding their batteries, because look at it, it's such an eyesore. You can tell it's an e-bike. But the good thing about it is you can remove the battery. And good thing too, because you don't really want to lift this thing, especially if you live up a flight of stairs, you can forget about it, so the removable battery is welcome. Personally, I feel a bit nervous about riding e-bikes in the rain at the best of times, but especially when you've got an exposed battery. And you also have the control unit down here, which for some bizarre reason has more than a few holes in it. I don't want to put a downer on this bike straight away, but for something as practical and as all-terrain as this bike, it should really be all-weather too. Okay, that's most of my nagging out the way. Let's take a look at the handlebars. As you can see, they're nice and wide. I've got a Bluetooth speaker strapped onto here, plenty of space for that. The throttle is built into the handlebars, which is great if you don't fancy pedaling. The display is pretty vintage, isn't it? But it's bright enough, and you can customize pretty much anything about this bike by using it. I found another moan. On this bike we have 3 electronic gears, but only the first one pedal assists you. The second 2 activate the throttle but deactivate pedal assist. And the shitty part about that is it will only pedal assist you to 12 miles an hour. So if you want to go faster than 12 miles per hour, you have to use the throttle. But using the throttle is strictly not allowed in a lot of European countries.
Euro trash. I like that.
Oh look, a heron. Okay, let's stop focusing on the bad points and start focusing on the good points. We do have suspension, which isn't the best quality in the world, But if your commute is a little bit off-road, you're going over grass, then certainly you want to consider something like this. We've got a USB port, we've got a nice bright light built in, a horn which sounds like this. Oh, I hate that horn. The saddle is nice and comfortable. We've got 2 disc brakes, a quality kickstand, a quick release front wheel, 7-speed Shimano gears, and the pedals even fold away. But let's face it, the main reason why you might choose this bike over the other 2 is for its 500-watt motor. Not to mention the 25 miles per hour top speed. And of course, the battery that I was moaning about earlier will give you the most range out of all 3. It claims like 60 odd miles. You're not going to get that realistically, especially if you use the throttle. I would expect more like 30 something. In conclusion, I feel I've been a bit rough on this e-bike. It's still a very powerful and practical option for an e-bike under £1,000. But if you allow me one more nag, do you remember on the Kakuka when I said the pedal assist was silky smooth and the very silky smooth? Well, unfortunately, this e-bike is jerky. It jerks you, but it's still shitsy. But it's still a very good bike. But to be honest, if I had to buy only one, it would be this one. Let's get on with the review. Expelliarmus! Bollocks. I can't do magic. Damn it! The Ado A20. Why? Just because I like small foldable bikes and the battery is removable, but it's not exposed. It's powerful and fast enough, but certainly not as cool and as comfortable as the other 2 e-bikes. Having the option to fold it down and take it on a train, for me, is just priceless. And you can find out more about that bike by watching my full review here. Yes, so I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Subscribe, press like and all that jazz, and we'll see you in the next one.